Guys, Hasbro is finally listening. We're finally getting affordable Star Wars figures again from Hasbro. This thing is only $30. You get a whole entire 2-scale vehicle, an articulated figure, and blast effects. This is blowing my freaking mind, especially when Hasbro is charging $18 for the freaking vintage collection now.
Hey, listen.
Alright, so Hasbro's new Star Wars Epic World of Action Force Strike X-Wing. This thing kind of came out of nowhere. A few pictures popped up online, and then it was just in stores. Box is very simple, but I kind of like this, I'm not gonna lie, because it's a drawing, or an illustration, which is the same exact freaking thing, of the X-Wing. It's not just like a realistic render, it's kind of more artsy looking. Big ship, blast effects, figure in the packaging. And this new updated Epic Hero Series Star Wars line, which is kind of like their budget line, is now the Epic World of Action and Power the Force. So simple box on the back, promotional shot of all the attachments, all the little play features the set has, and that is it out of the package. And as you can see, it is a full-size ship. And before I take a look at the ship, I just want to take a look at Luke himself, the figure. Big reason I want to take a look at this first is because if you know about this Epic Hero Series Star Wars line, when they first started making these figures as a budget Star Wars line, they had very little articulation. They had just swivel at the arms and the legs, and a turn at the head, and they were not selling well. And I believe Hasbro did hear a lot of the complaints and did probably obviously see the lack of sales on those figures. So this new Epic World of Action Power the Force line, we've updated all of the figures with even more articulation. Elbows and swivels, knees are also on bend and swivels. So nothing crazy, but it's still kept as a budget line because the prices surprisingly stayed the same. Figures they released before were about $10, $11. Now, at least the single releases of this new line, they're $8. So we finally have a decent budget Star Wars line, the 3 3/4 inch collectors. So whatever, now these figures have updated articulation, which I'll go through real quick. You got a ball joint at the head, very good range. A lot of tilt, side to side, can look down, can look up. The ball joint works very well. The arms can go up that high. They can sit all the way down to the side, up, back, and around. Swivel at the elbow. You get a single bend, getting a little under 90 degrees. Nothing in the wrists, nothing in the torso. The legs can split out that far. Swivel in the knee, you get a bend as well. Again, not 90 degrees, but it's enough, especially for him in his pilot uniform, and nothing in the ankles. So pretty basic articulation, but a lot better than what they were releasing before, especially for the price. So now this is a very nice budget Star Wars line. And to go over the paint real quick, yes, nothing crazy for the paint. It's mostly all just the molded plastic. You do got the white, the grays, the blacks. It is painted cleanly. There's nothing really bleeding into the orange. Most of the paint is going to be in the helmet with the Rebel logos and the stripe going across. Very cleanly applied, especially on the white, which is good. And his visor is just molded. It's not really see-through, so you can see his eyes. I don't mind that because this line kind of seems more of movie cartoon style, kind of animated style, which I'm sure helps keep the budget down and the price. So I don't mind that, and I honestly kind of think it has a cool look. As for accessories, he does come with one. I wish he came with his lightsaber, but he at least comes with his gun. He can hold it in his hands as he should. So it's nice they at least gave him a weapon. And onto the ship. Dude, like for $30, this is a nice ship, and I still have a hard time believing Hasbro priced this at $30, because this is a big ship, and it comes with a figure at that, an articulated figure at that. Not much paint going on. Obviously, most of this is the molded plastic, but you do have the details of the markings all over the ship, and they do have the worn look from them, like they're in battle as it should. It's Star Wars. And just to point out before I forget, on the underside, you do actually have a little flip down landing gear piece, which is pretty neat, because I wouldn't have thought they would add something like that, again at the price, but they did. Nothing crazy looking, but it functions as it should, and it's nice that it's included. As for the ship, you can see all the panel lining, all the details. Even with the lack of paint, all the details are there. and it looks good. All the little mechanical details, the knobs, the buttons, the panels, same thing on the back, the thrusters. It's still a very nicely detailed piece, and it has some weight to it. Oh shit. I didn't break it, guys. Relax. And because it is an X-Wing, obviously the wings...
Are you serious?
And because it is an X-Wing, the wings do open up like that. Very nice, a little kind of flimsier. The wings might fall off if you press on them too hard, but if not, they do stay in very well, and you get the nice X silhouette. They open quite wide. And it does still carry a bunch of details inside the underside of the wings. Thrusters, the wires, if they were painted, all the details are there. They just could use a little more paint. But I like that it's not just a flat panel with no details on the insides of these. That's nice. And just to close these back up, they close pretty flat without any gaps. First off, the tips of these cannons or these guns do have these plastic attachments, and I don't think they can come off. I think they're kind of stuck on there. If you wanted to pull them off, you probably could, but you might risk breaking the toy, so do that at your own risk. But I kind of do like that these are on here, because again, it's more of like the Force, the power of the Force line. So these transparent effects, I do like, because it gives it a more kind of comic animated look, including these that are inside these kind of like main cannons. As you can see, you do have two buttons up here. You shoot them. We'll see how far they shoot. If they shoot at all. Oh, they don't actually shoot. They're just like a pull forward type thing. So I actually don't mind this. And the color's nice because it's transparent blue. However, on the underside of this ship, this blaster here, you do have a firing piece that goes in this one. And there is a button on the bottom. Oh, it's on the top. Duh. There's a little button on the top right there, if you can see it on my finger. And you got a firing missile. And before I do forget, you do have R2-D2 on the top right here, but he does rotate, which is a nice little thing. And as for the final feature, the cockpit does open, and I also like how it's transparent. Cockpit opens up, doesn't feel too flimsy. You have the details of the seat and behind the seat on the inside, and a little bit of details on the front, at least sculpted, nothing really painted. Obviously with this, you can take the figure, pop them in the seat, got plenty of room in there, put it down, boom, you got Luke in his X-Wing, and you can see him through the cockpit glass, which is nice. As for the size of the ship, it is about 3 inches tall to the top of the cockpit, 14 inches wide, and 15 inches long. As for Luke, he is 1/18 scale, 3.75 inch, so he stands at 4 inches tall. How he scales with older Star Wars figures and Hasbro's vintage collection, and other 1/18 scale lines you might collect: Joy Toy, Jazzwares, Mattel's Hammond collection, Haya, and Hasbro's Epic Heroes series Marvel figures. As he should, he scales pretty damn well with the rest of them. And just to explain real quick, these two lines right here came out at about the same time. This was the Marvel side, obviously, and this was the Star Wars side. These Marvel figures from the get-go were priced at $8, and they had all the basic articulation, ball joints, arms, ball joints at the elbows and the knees so they can swivel and bend. These Star Wars figures before didn't have that, and they were priced the same as these Marvel figures and had less articulation. It was blowing my mind how they did that. But like you saw in this review, and like I did explain earlier, they finally added all the articulation that their Marvel side of figures had, and they put them into the Star Wars ones and kept them at the same price of $8.99 or $7.99. So that's great. And again, I do kind of like the more basic look of these, because they go well with the Marvel figures as well. Glad they listened. Now we have a budget Star Wars line, which is good for us, but especially good for kids. Because $18 for these vintage collection figures is pretty insane for this size. Overall thoughts on this. This is such a good direction that Hasbro is going in, and I hope they continue to go in this direction. This thing is priced at $30. Honestly, in today's market, this is an insanely good value. You get an articulated pilot to go with them. The X-Wing's big, the wings open, the cockpit opens. You got a firing missile, you got some effects in there. These are hitting store shelves now. This might be a Target exclusive. I could be wrong about that. But check your stores. If I see any listings online, I will leave a link in the description down below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.